We're looking at the driver's side rear corner, and that particular section had to replace the wood all the way down to the sill, even a small portion of the sill in that area, due to the top leaking when the previous owner had the car. Here we're looking at a little close-up of all the woodwork that's been done. This has been shaped by this point with a handheld planer as well as a lot of sanding. Looking inside the car, you can see why we're going to replace the floorboards. They're basically shot. Only a couple of the original Kissel crossboards supporting things will actually survive there. You can also see the exhaust gas heater that was originally installed in the car. We'll be putting that back in because that's the way the car was built. This gives you a wider overview of that interior.
Those are shims. Yeah.
Those little shims there that you're looking at, kind of an odd thing. Kissel actually used this material to shim the seats in place. We're going to keep it and we'll use something else for the shims. Looking at the passenger side rear corner, you can see that we've done a lot of work here. Now, actually, we only had to veneer new wood into that corner, unlike the driver's side corner again, which we had to go all the way from top to bottom. And Trish is showing you here how we raised the door using a floor jack, get the door lined up with the belt line there to see where we actually had to put it back into position on the driver's side. A similar thing been done on the other side. Here we're setting up to actually cut some of the floorboard work for the car. And even though it's going to look like in a moment my hands are really close to the blade, it's not. It's just kind of a funny visual because I definitely keep my hands very far away from saw blades. Now we're inside looking at the floorboards basically fit in place. You notice Kissel had a big tube in the center of the frame. That's actually the way it was built. They actually have a cutout section there. A metal piece goes over that eventually. Looking up front to see how the floorboards fit up there, as well as the battery box cover. Now, not everything's fastened in place. It's set in place at that point. Back on the outside, we're looking at the woodwork that's finished, and what we're actually doing here is painting it with Exo Rust, which is a oil-based paint that soaks into the wood, and we're doing that for preservation. Kissel painted a lot of the wood originally, but not all of it, which is kind of funny. They really didn't paint the outside stuff that was covered by the top. Guess they figured the top was good enough. A little shot showing the passenger side interior door wood pieces that were made. Those were a lot of work. Looking at the passenger side interior door, we added a clevis system to actually bend the door perfectly back to shape. Doesn't interfere with anything, won't be seen when the car is put together. But it does let us get the door with a really good fit, which you're going to see in a moment, how well it fits. Door fits just like it should. Belt line lines up. Absolutely beautiful. Sounds like a brand new car door at this point. We know, we didn't show you the sound or tell you what it sounded like. Looking back inside, you can kind of see how the door fits. Everything's all together just the way it should be. Here's a funny thing about the car. That's the battery box cover. It's an exact copy of what Kissel had. But you notice when I'm putting it in, it's tight fit, which is how it was designed. But you see that surround around your shift and emergency brake lever actually goes on top of it. You would have to release the screws, move that in order to get the battery box cover. When you think, oh, you must have made it wrong. No, actually, later on, when you see in a future video, you'll find out that it is made correctly because the seat runner goes over it too. So Kissel didn't exactly make it user-friendly to get to the battery. Looking at the underside of the floorboards taken out of the car, painted with the Exo Rust, those two boards, the small boards, are actually original Kissel lumber that we've reused. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's been reused along with the brand new ash floorboards. The floorboard sections are made in the exact same sections that Kissel made them originally, and they're actually dovetailed where they should be and not dovetailed in some spots, just like Kissel did. You're looking at the rear corner driver's side again. You're seeing the metal panels in place. Kissel had metal panels there originally. They didn't even paint them. They were completely rusty and pitted, so we replaced them with brand new pieces, and we painted them just for preservation. You're going to go to all this work, might as well preserve the car better. It's nothing anybody's going to see. It's just going to keep the car in better shape. And you can see now on the passenger side, the same thing's been done. That's exactly how it looks underneath the top. If you remember from the first video, you may have noticed that that is in fact how the metal is placed originally, and it's nailed on just like it is now. A little more detail of how it's put together, how the lumber currently looks when it's preserved. The entire interior of the car is going to be preserved with the exo rust also to make sure that everything lasts. And so if the car's around in 100 years, it'll be in great shape. Like and subscribe. See you later.